Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. It is once again time for a shop tour. It is starting to warm up outside a little bit, although we do have a winter storm watch that is rolling in last night into today. But next week looks like we're going to see 70 degrees again. We're getting closer to the end of March, so racing season is getting closer. It is March 10th. So 1, 2, 3 weeks we'll be out of March and into April, and then we'll really get rocking and rolling on getting to the racetrack ourselves and seeing everybody there. So let's do a shop tour, see what's going on. Last week you saw we had some empty spots in the shop. That's always changing. So let's start out here on the bench. What you're going to see today is a lot of completed stuff. This is actually Bill Hingston's new differential for his F production Miata, and I always write on the case what it actually is. So it's a 3.9 ratio. OSG stands for OS Geiken, which is the clutch plate style limited slip that I prefer for Miatas. They work really good. So this is ready to go. Got someone heading out to Colorado that's actually going to take it for him here in a couple weeks. So it's just going to sit and chill out for a little bit. Let's roll on around. It was actually differential week, and actually had a guy bring me a diff out of his old E30. And so took it all apart, replaced all the seals. He had actually pulled his pinion and changed his front pinion seal. The problem with doing that is there's a crush sleeve in here very similar to what the Miatas have. And these crush sleeves are only about this long in the BMWs. In the Miatas, they're about this long. These crush sleeves take about 300 foot-pounds to get moving and crushing down. So if you pull it back and you don't get it exactly where it was, you get what happened to him, where it wasn't tight enough and his bearings, his pinions started to move, and he was getting a whine from the diff. So bought a rebuild kit from Ireland Engineering and rebuilt the whole thing. All new bearings, all new seals, ready to go. One of the things I like about these BMW differentials is because the stub axles go in here like this, I actually have 2 quarts of oil in this, and you can move it around and you can put the oil in before you actually put it in the car, and it's just ready to go. So here's all of his old bits and pieces. You can see here just a bunch of old junk that we're going to throw away, but I always like to hold on to it so the customer can take a look at it. Actually have a cylinder head sitting in this box that I assembled for Roy Lopshire. This is a new cylinder head for his next engine that he's working on. So you guys have probably seen it before, but I have this really slick overhead cam cylinder head assembly and disassembly tool. You can very easily have your cylinder head sitting here and change out your valves. And if you don't have a tool like this on an overhead cam cylinder head, it's pretty tough to get in there and get it compressed and get the keepers in. So this makes it a little bit easier. The ITA car is 100% finished. Everything's installed, broken in, dynoed. It's beautiful. Everything turned out great. We had some really good gains. It's all clean, just waiting for the transport to get here so it can get shipped off to Virginia. And I think he's going to be really happy with how this project completed. As you know, the Cadillac is heading off to Atlanta this week, but moving that car around here in the shop has always been a bit of a problem. And so I actually found a really cool, and some of you guys have probably seen these, but it's a really cool tool, and they make them for all sorts of widths of tires. So this will take up to a 20-inch wide tire, which means that the Cadillac will clear these. And this is a GoJacks system. So you can literally slide up to a car, slip these underneath, flip that down, and then just crank it up. And once you get your tire off the ground, you can put the hook on, and there it is. So I got 4 of these, and now we're able to move cars around the shop. When you have 4 of these on a car, obviously I don't have, if I just had 2 on, you could see how easy it would be to move the back, but I moved another car in the shop the other day with them. I've been missing out, guys, all these years not having these things. And to go down, you simply lift the lever, down it goes. How cool is that? So we'll eventually get a chance to get a car up on them, one of these shop tours, move it around. I'll show you how easy it is to push. So moving on, let's jump over to the BMW for a minute. You can see that I've got a rubber hose attached to the exhaust. So basically what I like to do, especially since my car just happens to be sitting right next to the door, I'll just raise the door up a little bit, slip this underneath, and what I'm currently working on is the cold start. So I'll come in the morning, start the car up. It takes some fiddling to get one of these race cars with these big cams to start and warm up and idle properly. So I've been kind of working on that. As you can see, I've got some new slicks on the front, and I actually have a set of old Spec Miata tires here on the back, because next step here is off to the dyno. Waiting for a little bit warmer day. I think we'll probably get that next week. Get this completed, and I'm still a month ahead of schedule. So 15 minutes every day, guys, it works. Still waiting on the final front brake kits. We did not get those in yet for the Miatas. You guys saw the rears last week, which are already on the car, looking good. It's just kind of up in the air, out of the way, waiting on the fronts, which should be here in the next week, I hope. New project. This is Brian Laughlin's T4 MX5. Now, if you guys watched the runoffs this year, you know that Brian actually finished 3rd on track, but they bounced him for fuel after the race. Why did he get bounced for fuel? We're going to have ourselves a little runoffs lesson here, guys. O'Brien was qualified, I think, about 19th place. Didn't figure he was really in contention to go to impound or get his fuel tested, so he had some old fuel that he'd been running, and he ran a little bit of that during the week before he started running the runoff specific fuel. They make you run runoff specific fuel so that everybody's basically on a level playing ground. Now, if you don't pump out your tank, put a little bit of their fuel in, run the car, pump it out again, all week you're going to have this fuel mixing, and it will never pass the test. It's not that he was running cheater fuel, but he had too much of the old fuel, and so they actually moved him back to last in class. But if you did watch the race, you saw it was crazy, because they had like 3 full course cautions, and Brian went from like 19th to 10th to 5th to 3rd, and actually was 3rd, but lots of body damage. So just got the car in. You can see it's a little dirty. We've got a nose that we need to replace. We've got a fender that is completely mangled. We've got a broken headlight. And so the car is kind of here. Brian bought this car last year after he sold his STL car as something different to do, something that would be a little simpler. This is my first opportunity to actually look at the car. So I'm going to go over the whole thing, get it up on the alignment rack, get it on the dyno, see if we can make some more power, get the car set up better, and we might even clean it up a little bit, because it is filthy. So this is kind of what's taking up our old Cadillac spot, but it won't be here too long, as long as I can find a bumper. The front bumpers apparently are getting to be kind of hard to find. So in the meantime, I have moved my fabrication area down to where the Integra was. So now it's much easier for me to maneuver some of these machines around and get to them much easier if I need to. Obviously have my multi-purpose tool here, shrinker stretcher, all of the sheet metal tools here, and then the roll cage stuff back here. So it's a lot easier to get to, and I will not be filling this spot up with a car. I'm going to leave this here, and then where this was over there, I'm able to have a little bit more room for engines that come apart kind of in the process. So we'll be seeing some of that here over the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, today my focus finally is working on Eric's wiring project. So I don't have the inside loomed up yet, but the inside of the car is all completely wired. You'll see that there's just wires hanging down, but I want to make sure that once I get everything wired, that it all works. So I'm going to get it all wired up before I loom the harness, and I just have a few more here to do underneath the hood. Get the coils wired up. You can see I'm working on the grounds here, and next is the power for each coil. So this is kind of my focus here over today and tomorrow to get this car done. Let's get it running, and then we'll be ready to get on the dyno too. And then he's basically ready to go as well. Still a month ahead of schedule. So I think we're actually looking pretty good, guys. It's been a busy week as always. It never ends, and you know, this kind of work is always a little hard on my back, but such is life working on race cars. But the older you get, the harder it is, believe me. It's something my dad used to tell me when I was tossing around cylinder blocks when I was in my 20s. You won't do that in 20 years, and now I know kind of what he meant, because I'm starting to feel it myself. But you know, always trying to work smarter versus harder makes a big difference in your life. So we are getting closer and closer to our personal JPM shop racing season starting. Got a bunch of guys coming in over the next few weeks to do some more dyno tuning to get ready for the spring, and we'll be looking good. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've had a great week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.